of three-headed monsters are led by Kevin Murphy, who has had an outstanding season. You see, he came from Tennessee Tech, was a second-round pick by the Utah Jazz, and he's averaging almost 23 points per game, third in the Big Three.
You know, he's a complete scorer, whether it's from three, off the dribble, to the basket. There's really not an offensive weakness in his game, and we'll see that in this game throughout.
And Bivovac, they'll be facing here this afternoon, but this is the rest of the three-headed monsters roster. Rashard Lewis, who is the MVP of the Big Three in its inaugural year. You see Reggie Evans, the co-captain as well. Head coach Gary Payton not here today. They'll be coached by CJ Ashford.
Now,
looking at Bivovac, they are a team that is 0-3 this season, and it is so short. It's hard to get in that swing of things so early on from right out of the gate, but they are without three main contributors today.
Yeah, so Josh Smith, who I thought came off his best game, gets hurt. Then you look at Jermaine Taylor, gets hit with COVID protocol. So, I mean, what they're left with is this. Corey Jefferson, which is interesting because they have size. Quincy Miller, Mikael Gladness, and then Alonzo G is going to have to handle the ball and be responsible for initiating offense. But when you think about this game, it's all about size with three-headed monsters. They have always played this way. Reggie Evans, Rashard Lewis, and Njai. If those guys continue to pound the glass, you got no chance of beating the three-headed monsters.
A very tall task ahead, pun intended from your last comments, ahead for Reggie Theus without his leading scorer. You mentioned Josh Smith, but also Will Bynum out. He was averaging 15 points per game after spending 8 seasons in the NBA. And there is the coach that is replacing Gary Payton tonight, CJ Ashford, which I think is an interesting dynamic, Brian, just because of how steady and consistent the three-headed monsters have been under Gary Payton.
Yeah, CJ has been there all along the way, and he handles everything for this team, making sure that everything is locked in. And now, you know, Gary Payton's out, CJ steps up into a new role.
The three-headed monsters last week beating Three's company. Here are our rules in the Big Three to get acquainted with. First team to 50 wins. Halftime is 25. No game clock, but there is a shot clock. Free throws are worth 2 points on most shooting fouls. There's also a 4-point shot, and you'll see those marked on the floor. Players have to be touching any part of that circle.
Yeah, this is a tall task for Bivovac. I mean, these guys have been together. Reggie Evans, Rashard Lewis, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, they've been together for so long. Murphy is one of the best scorers in this league. When you watch him play, no offensive weakness in 3-on-3.
I mean, you're right, Brian. They're the only team that's been fully intact since 2017. They went to the championship game that year. They've been to the semifinals the last two, so high expectations for this team.
And most of the guys, it's Reggie Evans. You'll see in this game, he dominates the game from his position.
Expect him on the boards to be an absolute pest. He has averaged at least 10 in all his Big Three seasons. Evans jab fake, and that will be a shot clock violation to start things off.
A lot of size out there for the Bivovacs.
A big advantage there, especially because, as we've seen here in the Big Three, how much you can get those mismatches and really utilize them. Rashard Lewis, the MVP of the Big Three debut season, that won't go. That shot will not fall for Corey Jefferson. Here are the leading scorers for both of these teams. Will Bynum and Josh Smith both not playing tonight, but Murphy and Lewis, some of the best for this really consistent team.
Yeah, a team that's been together forever. They draft Kevin Murphy, and you can see right away, like, they're fine with Kevin Murphy being the guy.
What is that dynamic like when you bring in someone like that, when you do have such a well-known and familiar dynamic?
Well, I think the biggest thing for them is they know exactly who they are. They've always been that. Reggie Evans and Rashard Lewis want to dominate with their size out there.
There's tough defense inside. G misfires. Miller behind the back pass, but the finish not there from Jefferson. Jefferson brand new to the big three, just 30 years old, a graduate of Baylor. That goes out of bounds. And checking in is Gladness.
Yeah, let's see who this ball went out of bounds on. On the loose ball there. Yeah, that's definitely off Jefferson.
Lewis. Rebound chased down by G. Miller. He'll knock down that shot, and Bivovac taking the early lead, getting on the board first. Murphy being patient, and he will draw the foul.
All right, Bivovac with the ball movement. There's the extra pass. There's the three ball.
G did a great job of checking that he was in bounds, chasing down that loose ball off the rebound. Evans, powerful, draws the foul.
He's the strongest guy in the league. I mean, it's not even close. Trying to keep him off the glass, trying to keep him away from the front of the rim is almost impossible. Here he is again. Mikel Gladness, welcome to the big three.
I mean, he is someone else, too, for relatively somewhat undersized for his role that we've seen throughout his career, but he is just so strong, so powerful.
Oh, you could say it. He's a beast. You could say it. He is an absolute beast.
I mean, even watching, you feel a little intimidated.
Oh, no question. He's the nicest guy, except on the court.
Good look down low. G is absolutely stuffed by Murphy while still bounced around, and they did not know that was a shot clock violation.
No, that ball did not hit the rim, and three-headed monsters picking up their activity. There's going to be a moment. Watch this block. Here, just three-headed monsters swarming on the defensive end. Give me that.
You've seen just a lot of really great guard play in the post during these last three games. That is good inside for the three-headed monsters.
Yeah, I mean, you pick your poison. You body up Evans, he counters off you. If you don't, he goes to the front of the rim.
Gladness handing off to G. That's not fair. Quick closeouts on Murphy. That forced him to put it on the ground, but he's still going to get a whistle.
Yeah, there's, like I said before, there is no offensive weakness. You want to drive right, drive left, finish right, finish left, step back right, step back left. Like when he plays offense in this league, he is just reacting to the defense.
Evans looking up at the rim. He was not going to be stopped getting the ball back close.
Yeah, and you hear the microphones with the That's what it's like playing against Reggie Evans.
I mean, it sounds like football pads hitting each other.
It is a challenge. It is a challenge.
Long range two, not there.
You know, in the big three, we have a week to prepare. Like that week, I eat nothing but ribeye steaks going into the Reggie Evans game. It's crazy.
Is it just his size and tenacity, or is it also the elbows? I mean, just the way he's trying to get position has got to be exhausting.
No, it's the hit. When he puts that shoulder into your chest and you have no air, that's it. Take a look right here. Gladness, I feel you. I've been there. It is no joke.
So a timeout called on the floor. It is an early 8-3 lead. It's in fact an 8-0 run for the three-headed monsters.
And they did it all through Reggie Evans. There he is. And you could say it, Sloan, an absolute beast.
He is an absolute beast. And that goes back to watching him during his NBA career as well. I mean, we know in the big three, he's averaged at least 10 rebounds per game each season he's been here. His NBA career averaged 7 per game. I mean, he is just a beast.
Yeah, and sets hard screens, rolls hard to the basket. Doesn't need the ball, but you see how this game went. Kevin Murphy hasn't got anything going. Neither has Rashard Lewis. All right, give me the ball. I will carry us until this first break. So let's see it. You want to see it, Sloan?
You're exactly right. All 8 points tonight that he has scored, because you're right, we haven't seen a whole lot of influence from Lewis or from Murphy.
Not yet, yeah.
Miller, a couple jab fakes, misfires, rebound to none other than Evans. Murphy, there you go, that's a good start.
It only takes one for Kevin Murphy. This is a really good team. They have the whole inside-outside thing going for them.
We've talked throughout about who can be a team that can challenge the triplets and Joe Johnson, who appears to be the MVP again. And you're looking at one of them, the three-headed monsters. Really nice play from Reggie Evans, working the posts. And it is a 10-point lead. The three-headed monsters taking it right to Bivovac in our final game. Murphy getting things going too. That's dangerous for the three-headed monsters. Towards the top of the standings, a lot of a logjam that we're seeing this early on in the Big Three season.
Yeah, this is so important right now to separate yourself out. Obviously, triplets, Ghost Ballers, Tri-State Trilogy, those guys are starting to separate. But it is important right now because everyone has their eyes on the Bahamas.
They think we've been watching too much of Reggie Evans.
There it is. They love the physical play.
I would be inspired by it too. Bivovac trying to crawl back into this one, and that's a good start.
Yeah, Lonzo G, he's the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to have to create some type of mismatch out there.
Bivovac already 0-3 to start this year as Murphy will line up a three. But then they're without three players, including their top three scorers in Josh Smith and Will Bynum, having to make a whole lot happen with some replacements.
And I thought Josh had a really good game last week. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out what, who you are, what you're doing. It's a tough break for them.
Yeah, there's no time really in the Big Three to be able to just ease into things. You really have to hit the ground running.
Yeah, no question about it. And most of the teams with guys returning, they know that.
Set to check in for the three-headed monsters, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. At the free throw line now, Corey Jefferson.
The ageless wonder. I don't know
ageless wonder.
How does he do it? It's unbelievable. I ask him all the time. He didn't tell me any secrets.
On the women's basketball side, we hear about the agelessness of Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, and they're only just barely 40.
I know. But you know what? I'm 43 and I root for him because I can only wish to be moving around like this when I'm 50 years old.
That's absolutely right. So he's about to check in. There might be a clock issue, might be a possession issue. Reggie Theus having a disagreement with the referees here. And Abdul Rauf still waiting to get back in.
Yeah, he's checking in for Kevin Murphy, and he's at the free throw line.
So Bivovac has the 30-year-old Corey Jefferson, and we'll have the 52-year-old Abdul Rauf.
52, amazing.
Fantastic to see. Another fun thing about the Big Three, that shot is there, good for Miller.
Nice run right here by Bivovac.
Lewis trying to create that separation in the score, and he's successful.
Right away, the switching defense. Lewis has just a sliver of space. Makes it count.
G up against Evans, who stops any chance of a Euro right there in the corner. That three does not fall. Rebound ripped down by Evans. Murphy for three. That is good. Beautiful basketball from the three-headed monster.
And this is what's part of having Reggie Evans on your team. That shot went up. It was Reggie Evans and two guys. Kevin Murphy sprinted to the three before he got the rebound, and when he did, that's a wide open shot. Nice play, good recognition, and that's Reggie Evans just being a beast on the glass.
Miller over that ball screen is good for the long two, and you can see he's feeling it, trying to crawl back into this one. Lewis gonna pull up at the free throw line. That's left short. But then you have Evans, who's gonna try and do his thing, and he will earn a foul to bail you out.
Here's Ice Cube. Oh, and what do we have at halftime, Sloan?
A performance, a concert from Ice Cube. The legend himself is going to be performing. He is obviously the face of this league and just an absolute legend. So for your admission, you get literally hours of great basketball. And then also a performance.
And a bring the fire.
A bring the fire again. It is a Taco Bell bring the fire. Coming off of a shooting foul, it'll be a one-on-one matchup. And we have not really seen the bigs do it, and I am excited for this.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of bodies coming together, colliding.
This is why I'm happy we're working together, Brian, because I am unabashedly like pro big man.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see the posts. I want to see more bring the fire with the big men. And it took till game 6, but this one I'm excited for. It is.
Well, Reggie Evans is going to back him down right to the front of the rim.
Evans and Jefferson. Here is Evans, that drop step spin move, just that easy. And just as you predicted.
I mean, he is, I can't explain in words how strong Reggie Evans is. Harry, and this is really good defense. Jefferson has his hands back, but that's the contact. You see the space when he gets the contact. At that point, you just got to hope he misses. That hit right there, and that freezes the defense, that's huge.
Even, it's so fun with basketball at this level and how experienced these players are that even if you know what's happening, you know you're going to be back down, he's probably going to go to a spin move or a drop step, it still is just unstoppable.
That his shoulder to your chest is unstoppable. If he gets that shoulder to your chest, you're dead. Dead in the water.
Miller thought about a long 2, instead difficult shot. He might have been had a bad angle there, but he still completes.
I really like what I've seen from Miller. He's got that quick release, and he can also get downhill.
Quincy Miller, also a Baylor grad alongside Corey Jefferson. He was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, eventually number 38 overall pick. Lewis leaves that short. A little slow start for him offensively, but then you just have Evans, and somehow Gladness takes that away from him. Miller.
You see how he shoots that set shot? Like, if you come up and challenge it, then he'll just deck the ball. Miller can have a good game. I mean, he needs to have a good game for Bivovac to have a chance.
Lewis moving around that ball screen. Abdul Rauf, long 2 misfires. And he's got a mismatch in there against Gladness. Gladly calling for it. The hook shot doesn't fall. Evans spinning along the baseline. Can he force himself out of that situation? No.
Oh, that ball hit the rim.
I think.
Yeah, they're not going to challenge him.
Oh, a timeout.
Yeah, Reggie Evans is making his case, saying that ball hit the rim. But give the Bivovac credit. A lot of fight, and Gladness doing a really good job on Reggie Evans. Let's take a look. Here it is. Shot goes up. There's a little block, but I feel like it hit the rim coming off the glass.
It did look that way, yes. Here's another look as he tried to bail himself out.
Glass rim comes back right into the dunk.
See, Evans was trying to look for a foul, at least in that case, but that causes the three-headed monsters to call a timeout. Leading now, are you surprised by just 4 points?
Yeah, I mean, I think Miller's better than I initially thought. We take another look. Oh, here's something under the camera. Right there, ball kind of changes its trajectory by hitting that rim. But, I mean, the biggest thing is they slowed down Reggie Evans. And they're starting to get some good outside shooting from Miller.
Are you concerned that Rashard Lewis has not been maybe as active as we thought?
No, I mean, one thing about Rashard Lewis is he's going to play the game that needs to be played. Whether it's, I need to be aggressive. Against these guys, they got size against him. Clearly, they went with the matchup of Reggie Evans. But here's Njai into the game.
And he will easily throw that down right as he comes in.
And that's a good two-man game, because if you're not up on Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, he's going to shoot the jumper.
Njai, well known for his 8'3" wingspan on display, guarding the perimeter. Jefferson, that's knocked away.
All right, let's take a look at the two-man game Here he is. Here's the catch. Jai goes up, throws it down. It's like he's on the dirt floor at home.
And that was even thrown around his head, not even just the length of his reach, and it was still above everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Raouf off the mark. And G is fouled.
Yeah, this is a challenge. Like if I was Njai, I would never put my hands down below my waist because you can get those fouls. Just keep timing people up at the rim.
Oh, Bivovac trying to stay with this in this game. That could have been 2 points there for G. Instead, possession belongs to the three-headed monsters. Raouf will take a long two. He hasn't been able to get those to fall. Njai, the rebound. He's got Jefferson on him, enticing him to go to work, but that bounces out. And a turnover for Bivovac.
And that's Njai right there. He's in the middle of the paint. People don't want to challenge him at the rim.
So 2 points away from marking halftime here at American Airlines Center, the final game of week 4 of the Big Three. Murphy checks back in. Murphy baseline loses it. So Bivovac has a chance, a delay going to halftime. Miller will lose it.
Miller just checked into the game. I'm surprised he passed up on that three. He was wide open. And guys, because he's been getting downhill to his right hand, they don't want to come all the way out to the three-point line to guard him.
Miller facing up. Takes a difficult shot over Murphy. He gets the rebound. And John. Murphy was cutting. Instead, he's going to go right at the rim. And that is halftime here in our final game. The three-headed monsters with a 25-17 lead. A lot of fight from Bivovac, but we see the cohesiveness of the three-headed monsters. Do not go anywhere here on Triller or Fight. We are going to have a performance by the legend Ice Cube coming up right here. Final game of week 4, the Big Three. Has been a beast.
Yeah, the game was kind of up in the air, and then Reggie Evans just went to work in the post. Got to the front of the rim over and over again. He's been a beast on the boards, a beast on the defensive end, but it's the contact and finishing through the contact that helped Reggie Evans, and here he is in the bring the fire one-on-one game, showing off that left-hand jump hook.
And Reggie Evans is with John Sally.
Yep, I'm right here trying to make sure he's his beard, because he has his daughters here. And one of the first things he said is, I don't know you from basketball, I know you from LA's finest. Thanks for letting your kids keep up on basketball history.
I know, right? That's, my baby just started 6th grade, so hey, at least that's the main thing.
They don't realize that you're playing really well right now because your kids are here.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, they had all my games, but my girls ain't been to the Big Three games this year, so this is their first time back, so they be giving me a little extra energy and stuff.
Well, you did well in the first half. Don't embarrass us the second half, Pop.
No doubt. No, I got you. Yeah, all right.
So many families here at American Airlines Center, including yours, Brian Scalabrini, and you do want to play well in front of your kids.
Yeah, I mean, that might not be in my card sometimes. I can't put my big shoulder into people's chests like Reggie Evans.
That worked well for him in the first half for sure, not to mention his entire NBA career. 12 points for him, 5 for 6 from the floor, 7 rebounds. I mean, that's already a complete game just in one half.
Yeah, I mean, what Reggie Evans does for this team, and he pretty much controls the entire paint.
Bivovac starting things out. They found themselves in a double-digit hole. Responded back strong without 2 of their top 2 scores. Here is a foul. Richard Lewis
took a seat. He did not like that call at all. Just take a look. Lewis, good defense. Watch him move his feet. There he is. Stays down. Doesn't go for the pump fake. Yeah, that's tough. That is really tough.
So G with a free throw worth 2. And that goes through.
Now, in the second half, that's when Kevin Murphy really starts to get his swag. We'll see if he does the same thing in this game.
Kevin Murphy in the first half, 6 points, 2 for 6 overall. Both of this coming from the three-point line as there's another whistle right in the paint. Play Big 3 Fantasy only on the Super Draft app, and you can win a trip to the Big 3 Finals in the Bahamas. Use code BIG3 for an instant $30 deposit match.
Great backdoor cut by Murphy. Nice lead pass by Lewis.
That's something I've really enjoyed watching the Big 3 today, is players making plays, and you don't really have that traditional transition period, but in some ways you still do, and you can make and find those easy plays.
Yeah, because you have space, and a lot of times it's off of block shots or missed shots that don't hit the rim.
Difficult shot, left way short. Murphy will take that.
So I thought Bivovac did a really good job with Kevin Murphy in the first half. He got 2 easy ones to start this half. Let's see what happens with Kevin Murphy's game from the outside.
Back to a 10-point game. Murphy looking inside to Evans, and that foul will go against Jefferson.
Side out, go ball, side out. It's yours.
You know, you think you're successful, you think you push Reggie Evans away from the block, and he's still got a whistle.
Yeah, it's tough when you can't be physical with Reggie Evans.
He's got his arm caught in there, made that pass difficult to the cutting Murphy.
Two.
Leading scorer for Bivovac, by the way, Quincy Miller. He's got 11. Rashard Lewis chasing that down. 6 on the shot clock for the three-headed monster. It'll stay with them. Murphy. Contact, but he'll make it anyway.
That's 6 points in the second half for Murphy. And right away, Reggie Diaz, this is a good timeout. This game was close and it stretched immediately.
It does feel like it's getting further out of reach for Bivovac quite quickly.
It's a nice strong play by Kevin Murphy. He can score all kinds of different ways. Like I said, those 2 easy baskets, you can't give up to a guy like Kevin Murphy because that can turn into a 15, 16-point quarter.
Well, he has 1 year of NBA experience, but shooting 54% overall, almost 23 points per game on a really established and consistent three-headed Monsters team that we've seen in the entire existence of the Big 3. Don't forget to enter the Big 3 Bring the Fire promotion, where you'll have a chance to win weekly cash prizes and a trip to the Big 3 Championship in the Bahamas. Scan the QR code now or text 500 to 75303 to sign up for text and enter. So checking back in for the three-headed monsters. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, along with Murphy and Reggie Evans.
Interesting, bringing Rashard Lewis out. They give up a ton of size. It'll be interesting to see if Bivovac can take advantage of Abdul-Rauf's size on the floor.
I thought that with this matchup, they would have Enjai on the floor, what we saw in the first half. Here's Miller, just knocked back by Evans, but he does draw the whistle.
It's like getting hit by a truck.
Doesn't matter in the paint,
Take a look.
outside of it.
Runs right into him. Look how far Miller drops backwards.
I'm not going to say there was any kind of acting involved in that at all. I think that was
No, that was legit.
getting a bust.
That was, yeah, perfect.
Murphy, too long from 3. Evans, here's the rebound. Abdul-Rauf, off the mark again. G, right there, couldn't finish. Murphy helping out, and that forces a turnover. You don't often see doubles.
You know what? Yeah, you don't. And it's interesting because these guys are all just kind of playing together for the first time.
Evans trying to wreck traffic in the post. Fade away, falls in, beautiful post work.
And you can't necessarily double him because you got 2 shooters on the floor. That's a matchup they're going to try to exploit all night.
Three-headed Monsters, always just a quality, consistent team. Won the championship or advanced to the championship game, I should say, in 2017. But that's when you get someone like Murphy in, who just works so well when you do have that post presence.
Yeah, because they own the paint every game. So it's like in football. You own the line of scrimmage, you're going to be in every game. You're going to be good. You're going to win games. They own the paint. Reggie Evans owns the paint. Same thing with Rashard Lewis as well. His length is a factor. And when you win the paint battle, you're always in the game. So now you get a score or Mahmoud or whatever you end up doing, but they own that paint.
Jefferson in Baylor-colored shoes misses that shot. And that is there. First shot for Abdul-Rauf.
Yeah, he steps in, doesn't take that long three, gets inside, knocks down the 19-footer.
He had been a little bit cold to start. Good defense by Evans outside the paint. Lands in the hands of Jefferson. Evans, nice pass, finds Murphy, that rims out. With the double along the sideline, goes out of bounds. Gladness checking in for Corey Jefferson.
Yeah, and Gladness started the game out, and it took him a while to get used to Reggie Evans, but he had 3 really good possessions at the end.
Miller for 3, that drops through.
You cannot leave him open for 3. He's got a really nice shot.
That's the thing with how short the season is, even with the team 0-3. You cannot take them for granted. Nice pass by Abdul-Rauf, just a little bit off mark. Three-headed Monsters leading 35-22. They've had really consistent cushion throughout this game. Abdul-Rauf off target that time. Evans, no. Here's G. Finally back in the hands of Abdul-Rauf. A little bit cold shooting here for the three-headed Monsters, but they still already have a really sizable lead here.
Yeah, I'm so used to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf making these shots. I mean, it just seems off for whatever reason.
Abdul-Rauf still can't get that to go. He still has 1 field goal in this one. Guarding Miller. Miller takes him right to the rack, and that rolls in.
Miller's tough.
Murphy, bodied up there by G. Slicing across the paint, that won't go. Fresh shot clock for Bivovac. The green no running game clock, but there is a shot clock as Miller will knock down the 3. 35-27 now the lead, an 8-0 run for Bivovac. Gladness working the points.
Yeah, Gladness doing a good job of keeping Evans off that glass as well.
Miller going right at Abdul-Rauf, but he lost his footing and holding his ankle. Hopefully he's okay.
Oh, right away, asked for the sub.
It was tough to see teammate Josh Smith go down. They're already so short-handed.
Yeah, they need him. They need his offense to get back into this game. Take a look. Here he is going left. Oh, yeah, that was no contact. He didn't touch anybody or anything like that. That ankle went all the way down. That's a high ankle sprain. That's tough.
Excuse my visceral reaction there, but it was pretty apparent about that roll there. 37-27, Bivovac going even more short-handed, but the crowd treated to Ice Cube himself here at American Airlines Center. It's been a great day in the Big 3.
Chilling with the homies.
37-27, a 10-point lead for the three-headed Monsters. And one of their star players, Rashard Lewis, allowed us a little peek inside what's going on the court.
Hey, y'all notice they want to go to the basket. Right. They missing jump shots. Not saying they're going to keep missing shots, but we live with that until they start knocking them down. Take your time, big fella. There you go. And one. And one. There you go, big fella. That's good. Big shot.
supportive teammate. We know he won an NBA title with Miami, a two-time All-Star, and a former MVP of the Big Three.
Oh, good job by Mahmoud, just battling.
Evans almost got the block, but instead he makes too much contact.
That time Bivovac tried to post up Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He kept the fight. 53 years old? Fighting like that?
Trying to box out?
Just doing the whole thing, just inside, trying to be in the fight. There's Reggie Evans, but that's a foul.
So this is Corey Jefferson at the line. I feel like a lot of players have this kind of similar story to get to this point, to have this kind of professional career. But I did think it was interesting learning more about him, that he never lost a home game his entire high school career. But then I kind of realized you're all probably like that. You're the best in your town, best in your county, best in your state, and it's just how it goes for us normals. That drops in. And it's Three-Headed Monsters basketball. Murphy, around two screens. Picked up by Lewis, we thank for being mic'd up for us. It was a cool look inside, and there he has it and one.
And watch how he uses his body on this drive to get the contact. It's so important when you're going against a guy like Rashard Lewis. He gets downhill. Watch him make the contact, keep the ball away from the defense, throwing the hook shot. Three-point opportunity.
And there it is, making it 40-31. Bivovac still trying to stick around. Bivovac, nice crossover against Evans, and he's got a free throw.
Excellent crossover by G. And that's interesting. Three-Headed Monsters are officially in foul trouble moving forward. Every time Bivovac goes to the basket, if they get fouled and they make the free throw, they will get the ball back after this foul.
Players like G, Miller, Jefferson have forced to step up majorly for 0-3 Bivovac without Josh Smith, without Will Bynum, and without a new addition in Jermaine Taylor, all out in this game. Lewis had nothing there. Here is Murphy. That's off target. Lewis, beautiful. But Evans trying to power it up, and another free throw. We want you to be part of the postseason. Tickets are on sale now for the Big Three playoffs and championship August 28th and September 4th, presented by Verizon. Just head over to big3.com/tickets and we'll see you in the postseason. That is the ultimate place to go, not just, of course, for beaches, but because of the championship trophy named after Dr. J himself.
Yeah, I mean, the whole family is all geared up to go to the Bahamas, so we got to figure out this thing. I got a lot of pressure to end up in the Bahamas, I'm telling you right now.
Nice two-man play. Ends up in a Gladness season 2. Murphy using his crossover. Rebound to G. Knocked away from behind. G sticks with it. He got 3.
Bivovac hanging around here. It's a big possession for the Three-Headed Monster. Only a 6-point game. That was a good timeout by CJ.
He's filling in for Gary Payton, the Naismith Hall of Famer, 17-year NBA veteran. And you're right, because Bivovac continues to just kind of pester and stick around. They've been down by double figures.
Yeah, here's the
They
block.
make plays like this.
Yeah, the block by Lewis, but look at everybody on Three-Headed Monsters came up on the play. And G went all the way to the 3 and knocked it down.
That's something you see. You talk about the space, the increase in spacing with 3-on-3, where you're really running sideline to sideline quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, on that play, well, two things happened. Kevin Murphy went to the basket, got fouled, and stopped playing. So everyone's scrambling. You cannot give up on plays, and that's why they got that 3. Now, Three-Headed Monsters should win this game, but they got to execute right here down the stretch. My guess is they go right inside to Reggie Evans or Rashard Lewis.
Important possession. And again, the Big Three first to 50 wins. So the Three-Headed Monsters really eyeing that, not wanting to give any more opportunities to Bivovac to try and come back. And of course, they must win by 2 points if it gets close enough. Murphy goes all the way in the middle of the floor, finds Evans by himself. Can't knock it down. Almost an alley-oop from the ground by Lewis. Instead, it goes out of bounds.
And that's a hustle that you need to play with. I know it didn't work out for three-headed monsters, but that's a big difference what they were like on that possession than the possession before that.
I mean, Brian, it must just be so difficult because it bears repeating about how this roster was pretty much just constructed leading up to this game with Josh Smith and Will Bynum and Jermaine Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, those are three really good players, guys who established themselves in this league. I mean, even today, having Will Bynum out there would have made a huge difference. But here he is again. Reggie Evans, contact left hand, knocks it down.
He makes it look easy even through the contact as the three-headed monsters going up 44-39.
Now, G, when he was in the NBA, he was known as a big-time defensive player. We're seeing a little bit more of his offense. He hit a three on that previous possession, but he's definitely pestering Kevin Murphy.
That's the way I think of him, too, is just a tenacious wing defender in particular. Here's Evans going to work against Jefferson. Left hand not there, but Gladness not able to stuff it. There's a whistle, though.
You know, Gladness new to the big three. On that rebound, it didn't hit the rim. He kind of delayed a little bit. Should have went up right away.
So this free throw worth 2. And that's an opportunity missed for Bivovac. Trying to crawl back in. They've been down regularly by double figures. They're also without Quincy Miller, who was their game-high scorer in the first half. He appeared to tweak his ankle. Looking for Murphy, the backdoor cut, stopped by Gladness, and he cleans that up.
We got a three-point ball game right here.
Incredible fight by Bivovac. Already shorthanded, then shorthanded from their already shorthanded roster as Murphy can't complete as he attacks.
Oh, they got Reggie Evans with a loose ball foul on the offensive board.
That's always such a tough foul to take because you never want to see someone hold back because they're nervous of that kind of foul.
Yeah, Reggie Evans not going to hold back, but watch this play. Yeah, that's a tough one. A little bit of body contact. Remember, now this is a big foul here. If G makes his shot, the Bivovacs will get the ball back. And it's different when you have 6 fouls.
Big free throw. A 1-point game. Bivovac looking for their first win of the season. Three-headed monsters trying to stay toward the top in the standings. G. Gladness steps into that one. Three-headed monsters desperately trying to hold on.
I'll give Bivovac a lot of credit. They've won it. They've got back into this game and been in this game with their defense, their length, and their toughness.
Tapped back to Murphy. Big three. No. The rebound to Jefferson. G loses it. Great defense by Murphy. Still a disagreement about possession.
They're going to look at it. They're going to take a look and see.
This is a critical time, just a 1-point game to determine who has possession. First to 50 wins here in the big three, and they're going to check.
Yeah, so right now they called it gold ball. Let's take a look.
Ball on the floor is red ball, bro.
No, I'm sorry, they changed the call. Right now, they're going to call it Bivovac ball. And it actually looks like it goes off of Reggie Evans.
I don't know if it touched G.
Yeah, unless it touched G as it was flying out of his hands.
I think that moment is what they're going to be looking at, specifically if she got visited.
It did. You see the ball, watch the ball change trajectory. It's spinning one way. Oh, maybe I just made that up in my mind. Hold on
I'm
here.
not so sure. It's really hard to tell.
That is tough.
I don't know if he did.
You know, maybe it didn't. It doesn't look like the rotation changed at all.
Is it enough to reverse it? Is the question.
Yeah, that's a great call by you, Sloan. Right now they have Bivovac ball. So, they give you a closer look.
Go ball. Go ball. Go ball.
I mean, you're right to look at the trajectory of that. I don't know if it changes much, or maybe just the grazed the nail. I mean, this is how detailed you can be. It's great that we're getting the look zoomed in here. I think he might have missed it.
It can go either way. Just bring the fire. Just have them play one-on-one forehead.
That is how we should settle possession. No, of course, jump balls, and we have those, but just bring the fire every time.
Just bring the fire. Bring the fire for the ball.
Here's one more look at that as the referees continue to be at the monitor. And Brian, we should say too that next week, so this was my first Big Three in person,
Gold ball
which
coming
was
out.
fantastic.
Gold ball.
And it's going to be three-headed monster basketball. But next week, no excuse. If you are like me and live in the upper Midwest, we are coming to Milwaukee and Chicago. So great markets to check out and see Big Three basketball and maybe see that man in the building too.
I hope Ice Cube performs again. He brought it today.
I think he set the expectations high for when people come in and indeed did bring the fire.
Oh yeah, Ice Cube brought the fire today.
Closest game of this afternoon evening slate as Rashard Lewis hits a huge three.
Sweet Lou, that's what he does. Whatever kind of game he has, when it gets to 44, 47, close to 50, you know Sweet Lou's going to deliver.
Bivovac trying to extend this game. Very difficult shot by G, and he is fouled. That's going to go against Reggie Evans.
Now this is big. If I was the coach, I would bring the fire on this.
Interesting.
Because you already have 6 fouls. He makes this, he's getting the ball back. So I would definitely bring the fire.
G misses. Big miss after the big make by Rashard Lewis.
Huge, that's a huge miss for Bivovac.
Three-headed monsters potentially could win. On this possession, they must win by 2. And Reggie Evans draws the foul. And it's happening again.
So once again, it's a non-shooting foul. So you can't bring the fire, but how come?
Second to coach that has done that today. It still is just exciting to see fire, really, to be honest with you.
And the big bell.
So no bring the fire again, not a shooting foul. Murphy for 3, that could have ended it. Rebound to G, but he loses it. Murphy.
5 seconds. Now they like to run this play where Rashard Lewis comes off of the down screen on Evans. I'm not sure they have enough time with 5 seconds.
Bivovac is so short-handed. There's no one even on their bench, but this game still is extended. And the referees are going to the replay again. It looks like at the behest of Reggie Theus.
Yeah, he asked for a replay. Ball went out of bounds. Obviously, huge possession with the three-headed monster with the potential for the game-winning shot.
That's CJ Ashford, who is standing in today for Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer, the coach of this team since their inception in 2017. And here is the play that they're looking at specifically.
Oh, that's off goal. Yeah, he just lost the ball. That's going to be Bivovac ball underneath.
There's another look at it again. It does seem pretty black and white. So the three-headed monsters have led for the vast majority of this game, but Bivovac has fought back. They made it a one-possession game.
Bivovac ball right away. So you can't go back and say, well, there's a foul on that. No, it's just whoever the ball goes out of bounds on. I got to give Reggie Theus and this Bivovac team, who is short-handed.
Short-handed on top of short.
Yeah, I mean, and Quincy Miller, who couldn't finish because he sprained his ankle. Like, these guys are gassed. They're bringing it, and they're bringing it on the defensive end to fight themselves back into this game.
There's no substitution. There is no tugging at your jersey. It is these three finishing out the game for Bivovac.
Saw the bench. Nobody there. No help.
G trying to shake off Murphy. Gladness steps into that. It's left short. Still an opportunity for the three-headed monsters to finish it out, but he's blocked. Rashard Lewis. Evans with it now. Gladness standing straight up. So much fight here from Bivovac.
A lot of physical play. This is the most physical game of the day.
No surprise it involves Reggie Evans as he takes the long two. That just rims out. The game extended. First to 50. He's the winner here in the big three. Lewis, couple pump fakes, and he gets the two. 49-43.
Now the biggest thing here for three-headed monsters is they cannot foul. You cannot foul.
G, a three. He hands it. It's back to a one-possession game. Bivovac not going away under head coach Reggie Theus, the only Big Three coach to have coached in the NBA. G, the steal, the finish for two. It's a one-point game. Incredible. Now either team, again, first to 50, you must win by two. Murphy, that's off the mark. Rebound to Gladness.
3 wins it.
G, that's short. Gladness tipping it around. It goes out of bounds.
Oh, they're going to ask for the replay again. Oh, here we go.
One more time, looking at every bit of this game. It's so closely contested.
Well, let's take a look. There's the shot. That would have been a long two, so that wasn't for game. On the board. That's going to be...
They're taking a look at who it went off of. You see Evans and Gladness in
inside
there.
position. We can't see that arm. But that's not that arm that taps it out. That's Gladness. Watch this. Ball goes up. Up again. Watch Gladness late. Right there. That falls out of bounds on Gladness. That's going to be three-headed monster ball.
Oh, wow. This one, I mean, they all have been really difficult to tell in what has been just a very tightly contested game in game number 6 of week 4 of the Big Three season.
Yeah, it's going to be goal ball. 14 on the clock, change of possession. Ball hit the rim, so three-headed monster for the win right here on this possession. You gotta go for Reggie Evans. Like, they've been trying to Kevin Murphy. Lonzo G's been playing phenomenal defense all game. You gotta go to Reggie Evans on this particular play. Like I said, they like to run that play with Rashard Lewis popping to the corner. Let's see if they go through and do that. But I would dump the ball inside to Reggie Evans.
Lewis, the inbounder of this game, led by Evans for the three-headed monsters. Lewis still trying to look for someone to bail him out.
Remember, they got the full clock. They got time.
10 on that clock right now in the Big Three. Evans Lewis finds a lane. He can't make it. Murphy, that will not fall. Evans, and Lewis is finally able to finish.
give Bivovac a ton of credit for battling all the way to the end.
They held on till the final possession, and the three-headed monsters needed multiple attempts in order to get game.
Take a look right here on the battle. Kevin Murphy misses. Lewis right there with the soft touch. And talk about the sportsmanship. Rashard Lewis goes up to all of them. And, you know, this is an 0-3 Bivovac team. He goes up to him and said, you guys battled hard. You guys competed. You're going to be all right.
They showed a lot of heart in this one. Bivovac without 3 players, including their top 2 scores they earned coming back into this game, but unfortunately fall to 0-4 this season. The three-headed monsters 3-1, and John is standing by with the winners.
Okay, I'm sitting around. You guys really played well, and you played against a team that didn't have anybody on the bench. So the referees were on their side.
Man, we can't blame the referees, man. We came out with a victory. That's all that really matters. They played physical. We just got to fight through it. That's what we did. Came out with a win.
Okay, but the real physical.
This the big 3. It is what it is. You just got to find a way to get a win. You know what I'm saying? We learn from people like you, Detroit Pistons days, Bad Boys days, you know? So it is what it is. We got to make the best out of it.
Yeah, I would have cursed a whole bunch of refs out, but way to go. See you guys.
No surprise that John Sally would have that reaction, and but a huge win for the three-headed monsters, continuing to keep them in that first upper part of the Big 3 standings.
Yeah, all those teams, Ghost Ballers, Tri-State Trilogy, three-headed monsters, they're all battling to get to the Bahamas. This game was important, but once again, the 0-4 Bivovacs, that was an impressive outing.
It absolutely was. Unfortunately, you see 0-4 in the standings, but so much fight and heart and grit we saw in this game from a really short-handed staff. All right, we will have more of Big 3 coming up next week. Milwaukee, followed by Chicago, but this is the midway point as teams separating themselves in the standings. For Brian Scalabrine, I'm Sloan Martin. Thanks so much for following us here on Triller and Fight. Tune in next week.